India and its neighbors. So we saw that India was the founder of the NORM, which is sought to keep an independent position between the two superpowers. Already, two superpowers were formed. One is US and one more is USSR. So to beat them, so third world countries were formed. That is nothing but NORM, non-aligned movement. So that was formed with the help of the India and Egypt, Yugoslavia. So India played key role to form the NORM. So at the same time, India tried to base its foreign policy on the Gandhian principles of peace and non-violence. So here we know that India was the founder of NORM. So and even India made a one foreign policy. So based on what? Gandhi principles. So based on Gandhi principles, so we knew that Gandhi principles was maintaining the peace and following the non-violence method. So maintaining the peace and following the non-violence method. So this was the Gandhian principle. Based on this only foreign policy of India was made. To emphasize its determination for peace, Jawaharlal Nehru formulated his renowned Panchashil principles. So we knew that Nehru was the first Prime Minister of India. So Nehru, he made one Panchashil policy with the neighbor countries. So we had a one foreign policy especially for the neighbors. So that neighbors foreign policy was called as a Panchashil. Why it was called as a Panchashil means we have five rules. So because of that five rules, it was called as a Panchashil principles. So we shall see that what was that. First one is respect for each other's sovereignty and territorial integrity. So we have to respect each other's sovereignty. So every country will have the supreme power. So that is nothing but sovereignty. So that supremacy should be respected each other's countries. And at the same time, territorial integrity also should be respected. Every country will have the territorial integrity as per their country. So that should be respected. And second one, non-interference in the internal affairs of other countries. So every countries, it will have its own matters. So no country should involve in other countries' matter. So that is called as a non-interference. So we should not interfere into other countries' internal affairs. That is the second policy. And coming to the third one, non-aggression and settlements of disputes with a mutual understanding. So non-aggression. Non-aggression is nothing but we should not be aggressive. For whom? And we should not be aggressive, and settlements of disputes with the mutual understandings. Means if we have any disputes, means we have any arguments. So that should be resolved with a mutual understanding. So we should not fight each other. Means we should not go in aggressive manner. So we should go with what? Non-aggressive. We should be cool and calm, and we should settle by sitting together, and we should have the disputes it should be solved with a mutual understanding. So there should be no wars between India and its neighbor countries. So that is the third policy. And fourth one is endeavor to achieve cooperation and mutual respect in international relationships. So if you every country should have the endeavor to achieve cooperation. Means if you want to achieve in countries any goals, so that countries goals should be achieved with the cooperatively. Means we should cooperate each other. At the same time, we should have the mutual respect in international relationships. So when you go to the international relationships, so in that manner also we should have the mutual respect. So that is the fourth policy, Panchshil policy. Fifth one is promoting peaceful coexistence. So what is that peaceful coexistence? Means all the countries, means India and its neighbor countries, we should have the peaceful coexistence. Means we should not fight each other, we should not go in violent manner. So we should not spoil peace of the country. So we should promote only peaceful coexistence. Means we should live peacefully, and we should let live peacefully other country. So that is the policy of the fifth one. So this is the way India's foreign policy was made, which was called as a Panchashil. And this Panchashil policy was these were to determine India's relations with other countries, especially in the neighbors, which one? China, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh. With these countries, we had a Panchashil policy. Once again, I am repeating: China, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh. With these countries, we had a Panchashil policy. So now we're going to discuss about India's relationship with China. So we know that China is our neighbor country. So we had a good relationship with China at the time of independence, and we made India's first Prime Minister made Panchsheel policy, and just now we discussed in a previous topic. So as per the Panchsheel policy, so we had a relationship with the China, and China also signed on the Panchsheel policy in 1954 year. So we shall discuss about the China now. So if you observe the China country, it's a communist government. Means already in a proxy war we have discussed in a Cold War and proxy war, the two supreme powers, nothing but US and USSR. So US is based on democratic government, democratic capitalism, and Russia is based on communalism. So China followed the Russia, USSR. So communist ideology. So based on the communist ideology, they formed the government. In which year they became republic, means in 1949 they became as a republic. So they formed the communist government. And India, it's recognized it's a communist government. Means the first country to recognize the communist government. And if you observe in a UN, so in a UN Security Council, previously Chiang Kai-shek, he had a seat in a UN. So India helped China to have a permanent seat in a UN Security Council. Means only in the UN, if you observe, 5 countries have the veto powers, like a USSR, USSR, China, now Russia, China, Britain, France, and USA. So these 5 countries have veto powers. So now we are going to discuss about India's relationship with China. So we knew that China is our neighbor country, and just now we discussed in a previous topic, India made a Panchsheel policy with the foreign neighbor countries. So if you observe that China had a communist government. So means China is formed based on a communist ideology. So when this country became as a republic, means in 1949 China became as a republic, and based on means inspiration from the USSR, they have followed the communist ideology and they formed based on this communist ideology. And India was the first country to recognize the communist government. And one more thing, in a UN, so we knew, so UN will have 5 countries. In a UN, 5 countries have the veto powers. So previously Chiang Kai-shek had occupied the seat in a UN Security Council. But India helped China to become as a permanent member in a UN. So in a 5 countries, so among all the countries, 5 countries have the veto powers. Among that, one is China. So in this matter, India only helped them. And even irrespective of their ideology, India helped China to take a part in Bandung Conference. So in spite of their ideological differences, means the countries which are following the communist ideology, the countries which are following the democratic capitalism, so they both supported by US and USSR. But the countries which were not followed these two ideologies, they formed NAM. So in that NAM countries, China also became as a part. So who helped to become as a part, means India helped them. So the leaders of the both countries which visited each other's countries, and they were greeted by large friendly crowds. In which year, in 29th April 1954, we had a Panchsheel Pact. Means India had a Panchsheel Pact with China. So at that time, both countries people greeted each other. During the British rule, between India and China, the boundary line was drawn. So that line, means a border line, was named as a McMahon line. It was accepted by the Nehru. Means the boundary which was drawn between the India and China, it was named as a McMahon line, and it was accepted by Nehru and its government. And at the same time, the land which is called as a Tibet. So the Tibet land was decided as a buffer zone. So what is the meaning of buffer zone? So means the buffer zone land, in this land two countries people can enter. So independently. So without, there will be no restrictions. China and Indian people can enter. But in 1950, so China was annexed, occupied. So saying that this land was belongs to the Chinese old empires. Means this land is belongs to the Chinese people. Why? Because China old empires ruled this land, so it belongs to the China. But there was a revolt in Tibet. When revolt was started in Tibet, so it was crushed by the Chinese people. Means it was suppressed by the Chinese people. But the leader of the Chinese people, the Buddhist people, Dalai Lama, so along with his followers, descendants, he was ran away from the Tibet land. And where he came, he entered into the India as a refugee. He entered into the India as a refugee. So India gave him asylum. Asylum is nothing but protection or shelter. Indian people, means who was the prime minister at the time? Nehru was the prime minister. He was ready to help the Dalai Lama. So when he was ready to help the Dalai Lama, the China thought that India as an adversary, means opponent of enemy of the Chinese people. Why? Because as per the Panchshil policy, so we should not interfere into the other countries' internal affairs. So based on that Panchshil policy, China, so what they did, they attacked on India. And when they attacked in October 1962, China attacked on India, there was a great loss. Why? Because so we Indian people did not expect that Chinese people will come for war. So anyhow, there was a loss. Nearly 1,000 people were died in this war. So both countries got the loss also. Especially India got more loss, and it took a decade to restore. Means by the 1962 to 1976, we do not have the proper relationship with the China. So and if you observe the two countries at present, both also becoming as a rising powers in economical and socially and culturally. And at the same time, some of the Indian part, which is Aksai Chin, which is located in Ladakh, and some of the Arunachal Pradesh area. These two areas were occupied by the Chinese people. When in this war time only, these two Chinese people was occupied, and still this land is in dispute. Both countries are fighting each other. Means internal, there is no war, but still it is in under the control of China. So this is about India's relationship with the China. Once again, I am repeating here. So China formed the government based on a communist ideology in 1949. India was the first country to recognize this communist government, and India helped China to become as a permanent member in a UN. And in spite of their ideology, even China took the part in a Bandung conference, which is known for NAM, and Panchshil Pact between India and China. So they had agreement on 29th April 1954. And if you observe in a British rule, during the British rule between India and China, one boundary line was drawn. That line is named as the McMahon line, and it was accepted by the Nehru. And at the same time, the Tibet land, so they decided as a buffer zone. Buffer zone means both countries can enter in this land. But in 1950, China said that that land is Tibet belongs to the Chinese old empires. So based on that idea, so China annexed, means occupied again Tibet and into their part. So then at the time, Dalai Lama, he started a revolution with the Chinese people, with his disciples, the descendants. But China tried to crush them, and they wanted to arrest Dalai Lama. So at the time, Dalai Lama, he took his descendant, some people, and he ran away from the Tibet land, and he came to India as a refugee and for the protection, asylum for the protection. India gave asylum to him, means protection to him, shelter to him. So when India gave shelter to him, China thought India as an adversary to them. Adversary is nothing but enemy of the China. So when they thought enemy of the China, so China, without giving intimation to the Indian people, so they attacked on India. in October 1962. So when they attacked on India in October 1962, Indian army was not ready. So we got a great loss, and we lost the relationship with the Chinese people, and it took a decade to restore our relationship with the Chinese people. And both countries, if you observe, both countries are rising powers at present. But some of the we have some dispute with the China, some of the part of India which is called as Aksai Chin in Ladakh, and some of the Arunachal Pradesh area was occupied by China, and it is under the control of Chinese people. Still India is what is it trying to settle this matter with the Chinese people, but it not solved. India's relation with Pakistan. So previously we had a topic about India's relation with China. Now India's relation with Pakistan. We knew that Pakistan was part of India before 1947. But in 1947, Pakistan was divided from India, and it was India was bifurcated into two parts. But at the time of India independence, Kashmir was not the part of India, and it wanted to remain as a independent. But when it wanted to remain as an independent, then Pakistan tried to invade on Kashmir. Means Pakistan tried to occupy the Kashmir. Then Kashmir looked for the India to help them. When at the time Jawaharlal Nehru was the Prime Minister of India, and he had an agreement with the Kashmir that if India is helping them, the Kashmir should be the part of India. Then Kashmir was occupied, and Kashmir was accepted as India's agreement. Then after the agreement, India went for the war with the Pakistan in 1947 and 48. So there was a first war between India and Pakistan in 1947 and 48. That was also for the purpose of Kashmir. Then by the time, little bit means by the entering of the war, India made little bit late. So because of that agreement, then by the time Pakistan has occupied little bit of Kashmir. So that occupied area is called as a POK. Means that is now in the part of Pakistan. Means it is under the control of Pakistan. That area is called as a POK, Pak Occupied Kashmir. But the remaining part is in India. Means Indian province. Means the Kashmir also divided into two parts because of when in 1947 and 48, one part is in POK, means Pakistan, and one more part is in India. And second war between India and Pakistan, it was in 1965. When the Jawaharlal Nehru was died, Shastri became as a Prime Minister of India. So then again Pakistan tried to invade on a Kashmir. Means that they wanted to provoke the Kashmiri people based on that liberating the Kashmir. Means Pakistani people tried to provoke the Kashmiri people for what? To liberate the Kashmir. So, but Kashmiri people was not responded towards them. But Indian Prime Minister responded, opening the front in Punjab and Lahore. So, who responded here? Our Prime Minister of India, Shastri, was what he did, opening a front in Punjab, targeting Lahore, and this was forced Pakistan to retreat from Kashmir front. Then Secretary General, who's that? Secretary General U Thant persuaded both countries to agree to a ceasefire. Means in 1965 there was a war again. First war was 1947-48 and second war was in 1965. So this war was stopped by whom? Interference of the UN Secretary General U Thant. So he he convinced both the Prime Minister and he forced it for ceasefire. So in 1966 we had an agreement in Tashkent. So that was called as a Tashkent Agreement. In 1966, both prime ministers had with the help of the U Thant. So who was the leader of that at the time in 1965? Means the Pakistan was not actually, it became as a democratic government. Means firstly it was formed as a democratic government, but slowly it turned towards a dictatorship. So at that time Ayub Khan was a dictator of this country. Means he was a military commander. So he only provoked the Kashmiri people to to liberate the Kashmir. So based on that he wanted to fight with the Indian people. But anyhow it was convinced in 1966 this war was stopped. But again in the 1960s 1970 there was a war again. So between Pakistan and India. So what was the purpose of this war means that this war was because of Bangladesh. So at that time again Yahya Khan was the military commander. So he was a military dictator of Pakistan. So General Yahya Khan, he promised that at the time there was elections in West Pakistan and East Pakistan. So West Pakistan is now present Pakistan. So East Pak is called as a Bangladesh. Means it was called at the time in 1970 before Bangladesh was called as a East Pakistan. Then in 1970, Pakistan general dictator of General Yahya Khan, he promised that so after these elections, there will be a democratic government. So the democratic government will be formed. Then the dictatorship will be cancelled. He promised that. So they went for elections. But in West Pakistan, Bhutto, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was formed government. Means he belongs to Awami League. Sorry, he was belongs to that West Pakistan. But coming to East Pak, Mujibur Rahman was one. He belongs to Awami League here. So they did not expect that Mujibur Rahman will win here. But this Mujibur Rahman was demanding for the autonomous of the East Pakistan. Means West Pak is showing towards the showing stepmother love towards the East Pak. So they thought means based on this ideology only they need East Pak demanded that autonomous powers to the East Pak, but they did not accept. Instead of that, Mujibur Rahman was one, but instead of forming the government, what they did, they house arrested the Mujibur Rahman, and means they arrested the Mujibur Rahman and they have taken to the West Pakistan. So then these people means Awami League leaders, party leaders, what they did, they started the movement based on the Mukti Bahini. Means totally they wanted to separate from the West Pak. So when this movement was started, Mukti Bahini movement was started, and then needed help from the India. So at the time when this movement was started, and most of the refugees also coming to the India, and India was ready to help them. So India was ready to help them. Who was the Prime Minister? Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister of India at the time. And she helped the East Pakistani people. And in 1970, there was a war between India and Pakistan. And Pakistan, again, it was defeated. And this East Pak became as a Bangladesh. Means it was liberated from the West Pak. And Mujibur Rahman became as a leader of that Bangladesh. And we had an agreement. What is the 25 years of agreement that we will discuss in a next topic. But coming to again one more war was in 1999. So first war was in 1947-48 with the Pakistan, in a 1965 second war, and third war is in 1999 and 1970. Fourth war is in 1999. Every time whenever they came for the war with the Indian country, so every time Pakistan was defeated. Even now also every time the Pakistani people attacking on the boundaries. So India is trying to kill them, and every time India only is the winning on the Pakistan country. India's relation with Bangladesh. So just now we discussed in that in a previous India's relation with Pakistan that so India only helped the country's Bangladeshi people to liberate from the West Pak. In 1971, in the Bangladesh was liberated from the West Pak. It became as a Bangladesh. Previously, it was called as a East Pak. So at that time, Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister, and this Prime Minister had a 25 years of agreement. So that agreement is nothing but peace treaty. And if you see how India is helping to the Bangladeshi people means providing the water of Ganga and Brahmaputra. So we are providing the water to the Bangladeshi people, and not only that, even India is playing the big brother role with the Bangladesh country people. And every time India is opposing the illegal migration towards the Bangladeshi people to India. So most of the Bangladeshi people illegally they are entering, they are migrating into India. So it was opposed, and India made a India made strict restrictions that to make the fence between India and Bangladeshi people, but Bangladeshi people requested to play as a big brother role towards the Bangladeshi people. And India had a look east policy also with the South Asia country. In this Myanmar also it is there. So mostly India only protecting the every time the Bangladeshi people. Why? Because the total Bangladesh country had a boundary with India. So there is no other country, there is no other neighbor country to have a boundary share with the Bangladeshi people. So that is the reason India only the main playing key role to protect the Bangladeshi people. So once again I am repeating here, in a 1970 India had a war with the Pakistani people because of to help the Bangladeshi people. So Bangladesh previously it was known as a East Pak, and it was divided from the West Pak and became as a Bangladesh, means it was liberated from the West Pak. And India had a 25 years of agreement which is called as a peace treaty. And India is providing the water, sharing the water with the Bangladeshi people, which on Ganga and Brahmaputra water, and these rivers are flowing towards the Bangladeshi people. And India is opposing the illegal migrations of the Bangladeshi, and they wanted to construct the fence between India and Bangladesh. But every time Bangladesh is requesting to play as a big brother role towards the Bangladesh, and we had a lookist policy with the Bangladesh and even with the Myanmar. And these Bangladesh people is rewarding our Indian people, means most of the awards giving to the Indian people for providing the services in India as well as in other countries. So that is the way they are showing love and affection towards the India. And if you come to the India's relation with Sri Lanka, we know that Sri Lanka is sharing the Sri Lanka is southern part of India. Sorry, not southern part, southern neighbor country of India. So here India and Sri Lanka, so we both countries have a cultural, both countries are sharing cultural and ethnic and economic relationships. And India is India's most of the people, means most of the Tamilian people living in a Sri Lanka, and these people means ill treated with the Sri Lankan people. So in that matter India was involved. And that is the only one thing which is irritating to the Indian. Why? Because in Sri Lanka is following the Buddhism, and they are not allowing the Indian Tamil people to give equal facilities to the Indian people, means they are not agreeing to give provide all the facilities to the Indian people. So that is irritating to the India. But in if you observe the Sri Lanka, it is one island, and it became freedom in 1948 after the India began 1947, and Sri Lanka became in 1948. After 4 or 5 months, it became as independent, and most of the Tamil refugees living in Sri Lanka. And India also tried to means there is every time militant attacks in Sri Lanka to get the equal rights with the Sri Lankan people, but Sri Lanka is not giving. So due to this, in Sri Lanka, all the Tamilian people they started militant attacks. So when they started the militant attacks, Sri Lanka tried to separate that militant attacks. Then our Prime Minister of India, Rajiv Gandhi, he was involved in this matter. So when he was involved in this matter, even these Tamil militants assassinated this Rajiv Gandhi. Means they killed the Rajiv Gandhi also. So then India has decided to not to interfere into the matter of Sri Lanka. So to suppress all the militants, Sri Lankan police, Sri Lankan army had a lot of bloodshed, and there was a violation of human rights. Means they tried to suppress all the Tamil militants. So once again I am repeating here. So India's relation with Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka is a one island country, and it became freedom in 1948, and both countries are sharing the cultural, ethnic and economic relationships, and we have a good relationship and with the Sri Lanka. But there is a ill treatment with the Tamil speaking people. So that is the thing irritating to the India. And most of the Tamil refugees living in Sri Lanka. And what is happening here, these Sri Lankan people are not giving equal facilities, equal rights to the Tamil people. Then that Tamil people started militant attacks on the Sri Lankan people. When they started militant attacks, then what happened here, Sri Lankan government army tried to suppress them. When they tried to suppress them, so Rajiv Gandhi was involved. But what happened here? Tamil militants assassinated Rajiv Gandhi also. Means they killed Rajiv Gandhi. Then India decided not to interfere into the matters of Sri Lanka. Then to suppress the militant of the Tamil militants, so there was a lot of bloodshed and there was a violation of human rights. This is about our lesson.